Hey everyone, welcome to today's video where we're gonna have an update on Tesla stock, especially focusing on the energy storage business, which I think has been carrying the stock price over the last, let's say 18 months. We know that the stock price peaked at just below 500 US dollar. Now it's down a little bit to below 400 US dollar, but still I would say like 90% up over the past 6 months. Now, why do I make the video? In my point of view, we know that the Tesla general business in the terms of number of cars sold starting to struggle a little bit. We can see that in Europe they're down way down compared to last year across their entire European market, almost 60% in Germany, 20% almost in UK, over 60% in France, and even in the smaller countries, and even the likes of Norway, which has been probably the best market, at least in terms of normalized for size, they're still down 40%. Now we can put aside the discussions about the engagement of the CEO Elon Musk in terms of politics, and if that's the main reason, or if it just momentarily a special kind of weak January. But I do think that it might have some kind of effect. In addition to that, we can see that the Tesla Chinese sales is also, they're not bad, to be honest. I'm not saying they're bad for especially the January month, because January has always been a little bit weak for the EV market in China. Also February, and partly due to the Chinese New Year, but also due to that December and November are usually the very good months. January and February are the two bad months. All that being said, we can see that combining the smaller players, for example, Li Auto, Xpeng and NIO, Tesla is going, they're losing market share. And in fact, NIO and Xpeng are now for the fourth straight week outperforming Tesla if you combine their numbers together in China. We don't have the numbers for the past 2 weeks due to the Chinese New Year's, but the last full week that we got numbers for, which was the 13th to 19th of January in China, NIO and Xpeng substantially outperformed Tesla by around 40%. Tesla delivered just around 10,000 cars in that time period. NIO and Xpeng together delivered just over 14,000 cars. We also started to see the first week where these two players outperformed Tesla in China was already in the couple of last weeks of 2024. So we're essentially 4 or 5 weeks in a row where these two smaller companies are outperforming Tesla, albeit only in China, but that's a big market, probably the biggest market for sure in terms of automotive. So Tesla automotive not doing that great, I would say. The price pressure is gonna continue to increase. Now the question is, how much should we then value the the battery energy storage? But I think there's also a little bit, darkening clouds even in that area. There are good news. We know that there are rumors that Tesla is gonna plan another, their third battery energy storage business, mega pack manufacturing plant, after the roughly 20 gigawatt hours capacity they have in US, and additional 20 that they're gonna now launch very soon in China as well, for a total of 40 gigawatt hours of battery energy storage manufacturing output capacity through 2025. But there's now rumors for another, like a third factory for that. That's great. We can also see that the energy storage deployments are going up hugely. In fact, they just delivered in the latest earnings 11 gigawatt hours of energy storage business, which broke the previous record of 9.4 in Q2 of 2024. Now, that's all good and nice when we are looking at the pure number of megawatt or gigawatt hours delivered. But the interesting part is that the revenue based on those is kind of surely but slowly decreasing. Whereas in the, let's say, summer of this year, we were all hoping for very high numbers of margins continuing to grow in the energy storage business for Tesla. In fact, if we look now at the revenue that comes from, let's say we highlight Q4 that was just reported. I'll zoom in a little bit for you to be able to read these numbers a little more easy. So I highlight last quarter of 2024, and we can see here that the energy storage business revenue came in just over 3 billion, which was, I would say, essentially the same number that they had as they did in Q2 of 2024. But remember that in Q2, I told you just recently that in Q2, with the same number of revenue, they actually had 9.4 gigawatt hours. So Tesla delivered essentially almost 2 gigawatt hours more, which is around 20 to, let's say, yeah, around 20% more gigawatt hours in batteries. But the revenue was the same. How come it's this way? Well, we can see that the price are actually going down. So the megawatt hour mega packs from Tesla has been slowly but surely losing average sales price, and we can see also in the trend, if you follow and if you scroll down a little bit here, we can see that Tesla's average sales price for the megawatt hour shipped is going down. I highlighted as on row 83, and in early 2022 they were around 400. I would say above 400 actually, even before that. But they have like slowly but surely going back to, and now they're at 250 according to the latest numbers, give or take. I mean, if you follow another one of the greats when it comes to Tesla on Twitter, Alojo AJ, more famously known, his numbers are up to June, and you can see also he says around 300 for the June quarter, Q2. Let's go back to my own numbers. We can see that I also had them around 330. But anyway, it was in the same kind of ballpark. But I clearly see that if you follow people on Twitter, if you follow Tesla's webpage, we can see that they cut the price for the 3.9 megawatt hour battery down from like 1.8 to 1.1 million US dollars. So it's a clear, substantial decrease in price. Sure, they will be, balancing for that to some degree with much higher numbers in terms of output. We can already see, again, I showed you, maybe let's go back to the article that kind of showed the energy storage deployments in gigawatt hours. We can see, although it's up and down a little bit, but the trend is clearly up. They are, currently at our latest record is 11 gigawatt hours. They will be able to do 20 by end of this year. And with the third factory coming online, maybe next year already, we could see them doing 60, additionally even 80 if they update and increase the output in the other factories. But remember that, in my opinion, the battery energy storage business will become more and more like a commodity business. There's a lot of companies out there. We already know that this small Canadian solar company, they're already in the multiple gigawatt hours of deployment as well, and they don't have nearly as much financial muscle behind them. And there's a lot of them. Even CATL are making their own energy storage business. BYD are making one. LG Chem are making one. Panasonic are making. So I expect a lot of competition, much harsher competition here than in the EV space. And we already know that Tesla's EV business is kind of, I would honestly say, starting to struggle a little bit. And I know this is not what you might want to hear, but this is how I see it. And in my opinion, Tesla is losing market share, especially in the automotive market. In fact, let's go and have a look at the yearly deliveries if we exclude BYD. Remember, if we have a BYD, they are the dark green, Tesla is the light green. But if we, sorry, that's my bad. Tesla is the dark green and BYD is the light green. And you can see that in 2020, dark green dominated. And as we go onwards, the dominance of the dark green, which is Tesla, going down, and the light green, which is BYD, going up. Now, if you exclude BYD because, they're operating mostly in different price target, sure, I grant you that. Let's have a look at Li Auto, Xpeng, and Neo that are more similar kind of profile of cars, brands. You can see, even compared to these kind of companies, Tesla is still clearly losing market share. In this graph, Tesla is the red. The others are green Neo, blue Xpeng, white Li Auto. And the numbers for 2025 are like rough estimations, very early to say. But in these red numbers, remember, they're losing market share despite them still, like, I'm still having them like a sharp increase in 2025 deliveries to 2 million or so, which now I'm starting to even think that's a little bit way too optimistic. Remember, we have seen that the sales in Europe is going clearly down. Tesla is struggling in Europe. We also know that the energy storage business, although they're ramping up production, the average sales price is going down. So at the end of the day, their margins are going to go down. And in fact, if you go to the earnings and look at the numbers here, let's have a quick look at the charts. I think I have a chart where I can show to you. Here you can see this is the automotive gross margin in the green line, whereas the blue is the sales, the automotive revenue, and the red is the automotive cost of sales. And we have the actuals until the Q4 of 2024, which is here in this area, second to last bars, right? Now let's go and look at the energy storage business. You can see that the Q4 expectations that I have at around 34% gross margin was the number that I was hoping for, maybe a little bit optimistic, before we had the Q4 numbers. When the Q4 numbers came in at 25% gross margin, I think I have to really revise my numbers for Q4 of next year. Why do I say that? Again, we know that Q4 of 2024, they had 25% gross margin. It's great, but I'm telling you, do you remember how quickly the gross margin fell in Tesla for the EVs, right? Look at this, Q1 of 2022, 27, 23 in the next quarter, 24, 22, and then falling all the way down to 16. And this is all said and done, knowing that Tesla is already a little bit, like, if you look at the actual numbers, in the latest quarter, like something like 600 to 700 million of pure essentially profit of regulatory revenue credit, right? All of that is essentially 100% margin, right? So a lot of percent, like probably 25% of the earnings per share is coming only from regulatory, and they're gonna face, most likely as it looks like now, more pressure in terms of number of cars sold for 2025. They might beat 2024 or 2023, which were very close. But even if they do, they're still losing market share, because NIO and XPeng are projected to double their sales this year, and essentially roughly the same for Li Auto. So no matter how you dice it, Tesla is facing competition in every angle. All that remains if this FSD, which I still don't believe in, again, I've been a Tesla bull from 2018 and late 18. I had a lot of Tesla stock. In fact, 80 to 90% of my portfolio at some point was in Tesla back in 2019 and 20, right? So I really like this company, but I'm sharing my thoughts with you, and I think this might start to look a little bit, I wouldn't say, like, you know, they have a lot of potential. This is not like Palantir where the valuation is crazily insane. That's not where I'm coming from. I see a potential where Tesla easily could be the most dominant company on the planet 10 years from now. But maybe this run up lately has been a little bit too much, I would say. I don't know. I made a video back in late Q1 or early Q2 of last year, where I felt it was a little bit, you know, way pressed down the stock price at 140 or something like that. Then it went up. Now I'm kind of starting to, you know, I mean, you have to be able to change your view when the price changes quickly. Right now, I feel I wouldn't like this stock. I think there's other options out there. But this is my ideas. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would appreciate it if you share this video with one of your friends. I'm struggling to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I would hope to be able to do that on my 2-year anniversary. So I would really appreciate it. And I appreciate your time, and please enjoy, also please make sure that you put a comment with your thoughts about this whole Tesla thingy. So thanks for your time, and see you in the next one.